Alright guys, in this credit repair masterclass, I'm going to share with you how you can start taking control of your credit and finances today. I'm going to share with you the 4-step process to fix your own credit. I'm going to share with you the 3 things that are holding you back, and I'm also going to share with you some dirty truths that the credit repair industry doesn't want you to know. Now, if you stick through the end, I'm going to give you a vacation getaway just for sticking through, and I'm also going to share with you why I'm giving this a vacation and why it's important to you. So in this this video, my goal is to not only give you clarity, but to also give you steps for you to start taking actions towards your goals today. Now, if you don't have any goals, that's not a problem. I have good news for you. I'm also going to help you find your goals and define them. But before we get started, I kind of want to tell you a quick story of how I learned about bad credit. So I first got credit when I was 18 years old. This is back in '99, and if you do the math, you can add up my age. But back then, they were just giving everybody credit. I remember basically the month I turned 18, I went out and bought a brand new truck. About a year after that, I went out and bought a house. And then every 2 years, I just got a new car, a new vehicle, whatever it was. And I just got further and further upside down, but my credit always stayed good because I always made my payments on time and, all the stuff you do to keep good credit. But you fast forward about 10 years, I was in my mid-20s. I was about to buy a new vehicle, and I was like, nah, I really don't want to. And I went to my buddy's a car lot. He worked at a car lot, and he ran my credit, and my credit at the time was like, I want to say it was like 770. It wasn't like amazing credit, but still pretty good credit. I could pretty much buy anything without paying any money down, like I said earlier. But when they ran my credit a little less than a month later, when I finally decided to go buy a car, my credit went from, like I said, the upper 700s to 570. It dropped 200 points in less than a month. And what happened was I had a tax lien against me, and I guess some other things, but at the time I didn't know what that meant. I also didn't know what a tax lien was. A couple years earlier, I paid my taxes incorrectly, and they just liened me. And so anyways, I got that taken care of, got it fixed. But I just kind of dealt with bad credit for 10 years. I just just kind of dealt with it. I just kept buying cars cash or buying them used, things like that. And then, like I said, fast forward about 10 years after that. So now I'm like a couple years ago, I was like, man, I really need to work on my credit, but I didn't know how. And I saw this post of this girl posted on Facebook, and she said, if you sell insurance, which is what I do, you should also offer your clients credit repair. And I was like, oh, well, that's pretty interesting. But I didn't click on, her. I didn't message her. I didn't do anything. I just kind of sat in the back of my mind. Then a couple of months later, some guy reached out to me on LinkedIn, and he's like, hey, you want to earn extra money with credit repair? I'm like, oh, wow. So I clicked on it, and I was like, well, before I sell the services, I want to try out the services. So that's what I did. I tried out their services, and they were super nice at first. They introduce themselves. They kind of tell you what they do. And I signed up, and I remember it was like $200 a month for 6 months, and then they help you for 2 years or something like that. And so I went ahead and signed up, and about a month later, I get these letters in the mail, and they're like, turn in your police report with your identity theft. And I was like, wait, what? So I call them up. I was like, hey, I got this letter in the mail. It's telling me to file a police report and submit it. And I was just like, yeah. They're like, yeah, go ahead and just do that and turn it in. I was like, well, my identity wasn't stolen. I just needed to fix my credit. She's like, oh, no, just fill it out and send it back to us. And I was like, yeah, but my identity wasn't stolen. She wouldn't say in those words, so then I just kind of didn't know what to do. Then the same thing a couple weeks later, same letter in the mail, or maybe slightly different. But I called them again. I was like, hey, guys, I keep getting these letters in the mail for identity theft. What am I supposed to do? And she's like, oh, yeah, just fill it out. And so they wouldn't tell me, but they basically wanted me to lie and say that I had my identity stolen, and that's not at all what happened. So I didn't feel comfortable doing it, so I basically did nothing. They charged me for those $1,200 and did nothing. They didn't help me. They didn't do anything. They just took my money and ran. and didn't know what to do. Like I said, they had my not my credit card, they had my checking account information, so there really wasn't much I could do. But I just kind of dealt with it and didn't know what else I could do. So then anyways, fast forward to a couple months after that, I see this new credit repair company, and they're saying, hey, we have software to help people so that you can help people fix their credit with our software. And I was like, oh wow, that's perfect, let me sign up for that. I'd rather do that than the previous service, because I could see how I felt as a customer, and I didn't like it. I was like, well, maybe I can help other people. And so I signed up, and they're like, first you have to build a website, then you have to market it. And I was just like, whoa, I didn't know what to do. And so I quickly bailed on that mission. I didn't really like it. But then fast forward about 2 years after that, and I saw the same company, same ad, but obviously it's slightly different. But I tried again. But this time I knew about building websites. I knew about online marketing. So I was like, oh, this will be way better this time. And so I jumped in with both feet. I went out and got an office. I went out and got an LLC. I did everything you're supposed to do. I spent about $2,000, and I did all the posts on Facebook. They're like, hey, offer free credit repair to your friends and family. And I remember 5 people messaged me back, and 0 of them actually filled out the form they needed to fill out for me to help them. So then I saw another post inside their Facebook group, and I was like, they said, don't offer free credit repair because they don't see the value in it. Just offer a reduced credit repair. I was like, okay, I'll do that. And so this time, had a couple people message me, but only one person signed up, and it was a cousin of mine. So I gave her, I looked at her credit, and what I saw is that she really didn't have a lot of things wrong. So I did the few things I could do to help her out, but I just charged her for like 2 months, and I was like, hey, there really isn't anything else I can do. Just kind of work on your debt ratio. And I kind of will talk about that later. But in the process, I learned a lot about credit repair. And this is also the beginning of the lockdown. And so I was like, man, I don't know if anyone's going to want to do this right now. I know times are tough for a lot of people. So so what I did, like I said, I took tons of courses. I took tons of classes, online. And but what I did is I realized that a lot of those courses, a lot of those classes will tell you how to fix your credit, but they never talked about why people have bad credit or how to prevent it. And that's what kind of bothered me. It's like, well, how are we helping them if we're just putting a Band-Aid over their cut? We're not really teaching them like how not to put themselves in those situations. And so, and I also found out from my Facebook post and all the other few ads that I was kind of trying out, and is that people don't like to admit that they have bad credit. And so that's why I created DIYcreditrepair.com. That way it's an easy page for you to learn everything. I have most of the information I learned all on one page. And guys, like I said, I took multiple courses, and they all say slightly different information, but it basically boils down to getting your credit report. But I'll talk about this later. But they all had the very similar structure. So I put it all on the website for you to learn. So go check it out right now if you're not there right now. But before we get started with the other stuff about actual fixing your credit, let me just ask you a quick question. Like, imagine how you would feel if you had good credit. Like, imagine what part of your, and you also had control of your finances. Like, imagine who that would help. Would it help your family? Would it help your friends? Would it help your living situation? Like, what other parts of your life would that change? Like, would you be able to travel? Would you be able to do things that you weren't able to do before? And when would you like to have good credit by? So, would you like to have it next week, next month, next year? And where are some things that would change? Like, would your lifestyle be different? Would your health be different? And why are these things important to you? Have you always dealt with bad credit? Were you like me? You used to have good credit, and now you're like, what do I do to fix this? And more importantly, like, how do we get to that next level? How do we get to the point where you're working on your credit and fix that? So that's what I want to help you with today. So please stick with me through this course, and that way I can help you with that. So, and like I said before, is is people don't like to admit they have bad credit. So many people, they think they can just ignore it like I did, or maybe they're just too proud to take action. So I'm going to share with you the 4-step process to fix your own credit. First is you need to review it. So you need to pull your credit, and I know there's tons of free ones. Trust me, I have them too. But the one I recommend you sign up with is My Free Score Now. I'll have a link on that page for you. And basically, the next 3 steps are going to revolve around information that you get off of that. So like I said, go there. They have a couple different options. They have like a 7-day trial, or they have multiple options. I went ahead and picked the top tier just because I like to know what's going on with my credit a little more robustly. But first thing is you need to read it. Once you review it, then you read it. Know what's actually affecting your credit. Like, there are some things on there that you need to change, that you need to fix. The third thing you need to do is remove anything that is wrong, anything that's incorrect. I had a couple duplicates; those were very quick fixes. I even put a letter on that website that you can. I think that I got that letter from like the Federal Trade Commission or something like that. I can't remember where I got it from. It's on the website where I got it from. But basically, you just send them a letter, say, "Hey, this is incorrect. Can you please remove it?" But the 4th step, and this is the 4th step that a lot of people miss, and this is why people's credit don't go up as fast as it should, and that's start rebuilding. One of the companies that helped me out is on there. It's called Self Lender, but it helped me raise my credit score like 70 points in 45 days. So it really helped me out a lot. So I highly recommend them. But I also want to share with you the 3 things that are holding you back. First is the belief that credit is hard. And the truth is guys, if credit were easy, everybody would have good credit. Sounds pretty fair, right? But the thing is, guys, there are some things you need to work on, but also, the credit industry has done a really good job of teaching us bad habits, like things like buy now and pay later. There's also not a lot of good information out there. If you're like me, you weren't taught credit in school. You had to learn it on your own. And the thing is, credit's a business. So, the thing is that they really get paid to justify, the XYZ company charging you high fees, high interest, high rates. They really want to label you as a high risk. Because that's how they make more money. They make more profit off of charging you more money. But the thing is, guys, is credit is not evil. I'm not one of those people that thinks that credit is evil and cut up your credit cards. I don't believe that whatsoever. But can you just imagine, like, if other parts of your life, if you were labeled just by your mistakes, or just imagine, like, if your favorite athlete, instead of him being known as the MVP of 2019, he was known by that time he dropped a ball. Or think of your favorite movie star. Most movie stars have made 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 movies, and half of them just suck. And so imagine if they weren't labeled by their it didn't say Emmy Award winning actor. It said the guy that made 10 crappy movies, and here they are. But our credit, we're really labeled by our mistakes that we made. Even for myself, the part I forgot about my recent credit history is I worked on my credit. I got up about 100 points in about 90 days. Like I said, I did 70 in about 45 days. The only thing I did is I used my credit card for a couple things I needed to pay off while I was waiting on a check to come in, and it raised my debt ratio above 50%, and my credit dropped 50 points. And I was so frustrated. I was like, oh my God, that's so annoying. That's actually one of the reasons I'm making this video, is because I know it's frustrating. I know how hard it is when you work hard to fix your credit and one little thing knocks it back up. And I actually got an email today that my credit score's already climbing back up, but it was very frustrating. But so you are not alone. I promise you guys, there's tons of people that are just like you that are working on their credit, and it's just hard to be positive all the time, but you do need to do it. So The second thing that's holding you back is your environment. If you're like me, you're not surrounded by multimillionaires everywhere. You're not surrounded by wealthy people. Maybe you don't hear a lot of good information. Maybe you don't hear a lot of positive quotes, and that's okay. And I know what it's like, because I've heard a saying that you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most. And if you take that that kind of stance, most of us, like I said, we're just gonna be the average of our friends and family members. So what I like to do is I like to follow certain people that are positive, uplifting on social media. I know I'm not directly surrounded by them, but in my mind, I kind of get that. I kind of get their information. I get the positive vibes, and that helps me out. The other thing too is maybe you're surrounded by people that say that money is the root of all evil, or maybe you're like me and your parents said things like money doesn't grow on trees, or money can't buy happiness. All those things just kind of add up, and which leads to the third thing is your self-image. And guys, and what I mean by that is your self-doubt can be your own worst enemy, but it can also be a positive thing. And please hear me out. Let me just kind of tell you a quick story about how self-doubt actually is there to protect you. It was about 2 years ago. I was going through, wasn't very happy at the time. I just remember not feeling good about a lot of things. I remember that I just couldn't, I just felt like I made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I was like, oh, why am I not better financially, better physically? And I remember I made a decision that I was going to commit suicide. And a little short backstory is my father committed suicide about 7 years ago. And so I thought, well, maybe it's genetic, maybe it's just in my genes, or whatever you want to call it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to commit suicide, but how am I going to do it? And I remember just like, am I going to hang myself? Or, I started running through all these scenarios, and I didn't have a gun, so luckily that wasn't an option. But my brain just kept thinking, and I just remember thinking about it for hours, like how I'm going to do it. And then, because my self-doubt was like, no, like you suck at everything, like you're probably going to suck at committing suicide, and so what makes you think that if you can't do these things, what makes you think you can commit suicide? So guys, it doesn't matter what your thoughts are, you're going to have self-doubts, but I just want you to encourage you, but anyways, so I woke up the next morning, and I was just confused to where I was. I didn't know if I died or not. It was kind of like in Sixth Sense. I'm like, am I dead right now? And I just remember I was literally laying on the floor, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? But I just remember feeling relieved, okay, no, I'm alive. And so I said, well, what's the one thing that I can do to help me feel better? And for me, that one thing was just going to the gym. I started working out. I made sure that every night at 10 o'clock, I went to the gym. And I started doing that for a couple weeks. And I said, okay, I can do that. What's the next thing I can do to start feeling better? And I was like, well, what if I start eating better? And so then I started eating a little bit better. And then the third thing, I was like, well, what's the next thing I can do? I started meditating. And meditating really helped me out a lot. And guys, I'm not the world's best meditator. I still struggle. Even to this day, sometimes I just don't feel like meditating. And sometimes I do guided meditations. But the reason meditation is so important is it helps you separate the thoughts. It helps you separate those thoughts and where they came from. So those thoughts that you had before of like I said, that those negative thoughts, you can start, oh no, that's not mine, that's what my mom told me, or that's what my what the kids in my school told me, that those aren't actually my thoughts. And once you start to separate those thoughts and how you feel, then you can actually start growing and moving forward. And so the best example I've heard of what helped me out anyways is that your mind is a hotel, and those thoughts are just guests that come to visit you. And some guests stay for a long time, some stay for a short time, but eventually they all leave. And so sometimes you'll have these weird thoughts that just aren't you. I mean, I don't want to go into any personal ones, but sometimes that's not me. Why would I even think that? So guys, don't think of those as hindrances. Just remember, those thoughts aren't yours. Just let them go. And what I learned over time is when those thoughts would come, like I said, those thoughts of sadness or suicide or doubt or depression, they would come to me, and I would just let them go, and that was it. And so one of the words that helped me out to understand that is, or the reason I like the word meditation is the definition that the Tibetan means to become familiar with. So once you become familiar with your thoughts and know where they come from, then you can start separating them from yourself. And so, like, for me, like I said, I started naming them. So, like, when a certain thought would come around, I would, oh my gosh, that's that thought. Let me just let it go. Just get out of here. You're bothering me. I got other stuff to do right now. I can't be sad right now. So it really helped me out a lot. But also you can start thinking of like, you can start thinking positive thoughts too. And sometimes it helped me to like remember, like I was telling you, there's a lot of people on YouTube I follow and I watch their positive videos, and sometimes I hear their voices and it's just me telling me like, hey, I need that voice right now. Like one of them, Eric, the hip hop preacher, I don't know if you follow him, like sometimes when I'm like, oh man, I don't feel like doing this today, I just hear his voice like, or like CT Fletcher, like sometimes I'm at the gym and I'm like, I want to quit, I'm tired, but then I just like hear his voice like, come on, you can do it. And I'm like, okay, you can do it. And so just kind of those things that help you out, and just think of like things of just kind of try to fill your mind with thoughts of abundance. And because the thing is, scarcity and fear and doubt, those are going to be your biggest destroyers of wealth. Those are the reasons that you're in the situation you are now. Just think about it. If you had better thoughts, if you knew better, you would do better. So just try to start working on those when those thoughts come around. Just try to start like separating those, from yourself and who you are. Just start going from this, this reduction mode. Because the thing is, guys, you can't save your way to wealth and prosperity. Like, those people that say, oh, cut up all your credit cards, like the Susie Ormans, things like that. Like, it's really hard for you to make less money or to save money by using less money. It's a lot easier to make more money and start saving it. And we'll talk about some of that later on. But just think of like prosperity as all like continuing to grow, and whereas saving money can only shrink down so much. That's the easiest way for me to understand it. So just think about like, instead of thinking like, well, I can't pay for that, saying, well, how can I pay for that, or how can I grow, and quit thinking of yourself as just a consumer though. Think of yourself as a creator. The same thing as one of the reasons I'm making this video is like, I don't want to think of like, how do I spend less money? It's like, how do I make more money? And so right now you may be thinking, well, what does all this have to do with credit repair? Well, the reason why is because, like I said earlier, is you are who you are because of your habits, and your habits got you to where you are. And so in order to change your habits and your actions, one of the things the acronym I have for myself is you need to raise your bar. And or if you follow Tony Robbins, he talks about you raise your standard. But for me, I have an acronym. It's called your bar, and that's your beliefs, your actions, and your results. They're always going to align. And if you just think of it that way, like the harder you work, the higher beliefs you have, the harder you're going to work, and the better results you have. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. You may be thinking, well, this one time I worked really hard and I didn't get what I wanted. Well, yeah, that's true. And the thing is nothing is 100%. So, like, take for instance, like if you flip a coin. If you flip a coin, there's automatically a 50-50 chance that you're going to get heads or you're going to get tails, right? And so when it comes to life, the biggest example I use is like when you think of sports. At the beginning of the year, like right now, football season is just getting started. At the beginning of the year, there's like 32 teams. By playoffs, which is in a couple of weeks this year, I think, by the time of playoffs, they eliminated half the teams. They're like, you guys aren't even coming to the playoffs. And then in the playoffs, every week, half the teams are eliminated until there's just 2 teams. And at the end of the year, there's just one Super Bowl champion. So even though there was, 32 teams, which each have like 100 players, or I forget how many the number is, there's only that one team, 1 out of 32, that's going to be the Super Bowl champion. So just sometimes, guys, like the goal you have in mind, the thing you're trying to accomplish, you're not the only one trying to accomplish that goal. So you just need to consider that. Sometimes it's just like the wrong time, could be the wrong method, could be the wrong anything else, but just don't get discouraged. But the good thing is when it comes to your credit score, it's really just a snapshot of your current situation. Even with mine, even though I knew that when I raised it up 100 points, it's because I started to take a couple quick actions, a couple correct actions, sorry, I meant to say. And I knew that one mistake I made of going above my debt ratio was enough to drop it. I know that I can raise it back up again. Like I said, it's already went back up today. I didn't even check it today, but I got the email saying that my credit score is on its way back up. But the thing is, like I said, it's an open book test. So you can look at your credit score and take a look, like what are some things we need to fix. So let's talk about those things really quick. So the number one thing that you can fix is errors. It's estimated that 80% of Americans have errors on their credit report. So it could be your payment history, could be a lot of things on there. And the most important thing is your payment history. That's up to 35% of your credit. So there's a couple things you can do to fix that. If you have late payments, if you have missed payments, whatever it may be, you need to get those taken off your credit report. If there are mistakes, if they're honestly genuine mistakes, get them taken off. Write a letter. There's a letter on that. There's a letter on the page for DIYcreditrepair.com. Also, the reason I recommend free credit score is, or the one that's on the website, I can't think of the name right now, is because they actually have built inside their software when you log in, is they have a thing that'll help you negotiate and fix errors inside your own credit report. And like I said, there's a video, there's an explanation on DIYcreditrepair.com on how to do that. Another thing you can do is you can just ask them to take it off. Like if you've been with XYZ company for 3 years and you missed 2 payments, you can just say, hey guys, like I've been a good customer for 5 years and I missed those 2 payments, I know, but can you please take that off? And they'll take it off for you. So that's a really cool deal. So that's gonna be up to 35% of your credit. So please get your payment history fixed. The next thing is to fix your debt ratio. And like I said, that's where I messed up, is I went over that 50% threshold, but you really want it below 33%. That's when they know that you're disciplined, that you have the money, but you're not spending it. So please work on fixing your debt ratio. It's gonna help you out tremendously. And like I said, that's up to 30% of your credit history, of your credit score. And then the next thing is length of credit. So that's up to 15%. So if you have an old credit card, if you have an old whatever account, don't close it, keep it open. Even if you're having to pay like a $30 a year activate or whatever they're called, the maintenance fees, it's gonna help you out. It's just gonna help you make your credit score look older. Another thing is a credit mix. That's up to 10% of your credit. What I mean by that is a lot of times they're going to want a good mixture of credit things, and we'll talk about that later on. And then the last thing is getting new credit. They want to make sure you're an active customer. I want to make sure that you're buying stuff. And I know that sounds like very, and it is. You know, they just want to make sure that they can keep spending, that you keep spending money, so that you're a good customer, that you're paying your bills on time. So now that you know the how. The thing is, guys, you have to believe that your credit is a winnable game, that it's something that you have that you can fix. So right now we're going to go into some of the false beliefs that may be subconsciously holding you back. Like I was talking about earlier about your beliefs, some of those things are not helping us. So we really need to distance ourselves from those negative beliefs and who we want to be as a person. So one of the things I talked about earlier is, well, actually I haven't talked about this yet, is you don't need to know who said it or why they said it. Like, I don't think that our friends or family members purposely said those negative things to hold us back, but you can actually fix those without knowing that. And I'll kind of share with you a really quick story about how I was able to do it. I actually, for years, I didn't like hummus. I don't know why. I had this girlfriend that loved hummus, and she would always get it. And I was like, how do you eat that? And I tried it like 2 or 3 times. So it wasn't like I was like, oh, hummus, what's that? I really tried to like it, and I just didn't like it. And I remember one day a friend of mine, he ordered hummus, and this was like 2 years ago. And I was like, ew. I was like, I don't like it. I've tried it. He's like, how do you not like hummus? It's basically bean dip. And I was like, wait, what? And I Googled it, and I was like, oh my God, it's garbanzo beans. And he's like, yeah, it's like, that's what I just said. It's basically bean dip. And it was like that. It's like a switch went off in my head. And I tried it, and it was like, oh, this is actually really good. And since that day forward, I like hummus. So, guys, I'm telling you, you have these subconscious blocks that are holding you back, and you don't even know why. You don't know how they got there. So that's how I know that there's little things that you can work on, that just learning the right way to do something is going to help you out. So you don't have to know exactly why those negative thoughts are there or why those self-doubts, but you can start working on them. And once you fit a better goal there, a better thought process, you can actually start moving forward. So right now, my goal for you is to help you acknowledge some of those false beliefs that are holding you back. The first one is money is the root of all evil. Now, that's one of the most misquoted quotes of the Bible. If you read the Bible, if you believe in the Bible, great. If not, then just kind of listen along. But it's actually saying the love of money is the root of all evil. Now, I'm not a theologian, so I'm not going to say that I studied all the verses, the first verse or the first version of this verse. But the thing is I'm bilingual, so I speak Spanish and I speak English, and I know that to say I love in Spanish, if I want to say I love you, I say te quiero, but that also means I want you. So if I were to say to my mom or my brother or my cousin or my cat, I don't have a cat, but I don't know why they said that, but if I say te quiero, it doesn't mean I want you, it means I love you. And so and I remember hearing a priest talk about, or a pastor, I don't remember who it was, or talking about that version of love that's in that verse is actually has to do with an unhealthy addiction or unhealthy desire for money. And I think you would say that's fair for anything. You could substitute money for anything. If you have an unhealthy addiction to shoes, you could say that. Or if you had an unhealthy addiction to swimming or anything, you could substitute that. And that's the thing you need to look at, guys, is money is just a tool. It's not like this addictive, or it's not this negative thing you need to think about. But it is a tool that can help you, can help your family. And that leads us right into our next thing, is that money does not grow on trees. Well, the truth is it does. It actually grows everywhere. Money is all around us. Money helps the world go around. But especially if you're like, the money does not grow on trees. Well, if you're an apple farmer, money literally grows on trees. So guys, don't believe those things that we've been told, that, all these negative things. Another thing is that money can't buy you happiness. Being broke can't buy you anything. And the thing is, guys, happiness is a choice. It's not that you have to have a certain number of dollars before you're happy, or a certain number of whatever to be happy. You can be happy now. And to me, happiness is really just an action. It's an action I take to be happy. For instance, if I know going to the gym makes me happy, then I can go out and be happy just by going to the gym. Or if helping others makes me happy, I just have to go help somebody and I'm happy. So that's what I liked. And like I said earlier, your self-doubt is really holding you back. So when you have those negative thoughts, just argue with them. Say, hey, when you have that thought of saying, well, you're not good enough. Well, why? Why am I not good enough? Or why does money doesn't make you happy? Well, why doesn't it make you happy? Well, what does make me happy? So just think about that. because your self-doubt is going to come from yourself, but it's typically comes from your self-image you have yourself, but all these other people that have influenced your life. So you really need to let that go. And one of the things I think about is your ego is not your amigo, and it's so true. And the unfortunate part about your ego is that it's actually connected to your logic. So sometimes when you think of like, let's use that same example. Money doesn't buy you happiness. So sometimes you may be thinking, well, I could be doing this, but it's not going to make me happy. Well, just kind of like, just take all points of view. Like, is not doing that going to make me happy? So just like I said, just start analyzing your own thoughts, positive or negative. Just think about it that way. Because like I said, you are going to have those thoughts like, I don't make enough money to start saving money. All these doubts, just kind of question them, because the thing is, like, you'll start to rationalize yourself. You'll start to like limit yourself if you don't take these thoughts and really just start breaking them down and to see, are they helping me or are they hurting me? And so just keep that in mind. And also, like I said, those thoughts that people put in your own mind, they probably don't even remember saying that. Like, you might have had like a friend or family member, and they don't even remember telling you that, and they wouldn't even admit to, like, I didn't say that. Or maybe they'll say, yeah, I said that. Like, but just keep control of the thoughts that are in your head, and try to create an environment mentally that they can't stay. Try to be positive. Try to find positive in everything. Even if it's something bad, like, okay, well, that did not go the way I planned it. Why is that a positive thing that I got fired today? Or why is it a positive thing that so-and-so didn't do what he said he was going to do? Or whatever it may be. Just always find a positive in everything that happens to you. So I hope I've shown you like how you can start acting today, to help start changing your thoughts. But also, I know that knowing is different than doing. For instance, like, you may know how to run a marathon, but it's another thing to actually do it, right? Like, if you know that you just have to run 26.3 miles or whatever it is in a certain direction, but it's really hard to do. But as you start working towards living a positive life and having control of your finances, having control of your credit, what's helped me is start setting small goals to achieve the big goals. So for instance, if I want to run a marathon, I don't need to run it all today. I'm going to break it up into subsections, and one thing you need to remember, there's only two things that motivate us. That's it. There's just two things. If you try to remember this, it's always pain and pleasure. Those are the only two things. We're always running towards pleasure and away from pain. But unfortunately, or positively, I don't know, like I said, everything's a positive, right? Is that sometimes we have to go through pain to get to the pleasure, and that's what makes life so interesting and complex. If you think about when a child's born, a mom has to go through like hours and hours of labor, and they have to carry this baby for months. But when it's born, it's this beautiful baby. And so sometimes, like I said, we do have to deal with and overcome a lot of stuff to get to where we're at. So like I said, what I want to do with you is to help you kind of start setting goals. But instead of climbing that 100-foot wall, I want you to help break it into 1-foot walls that you can just step over. So one of the things that I do, and one of the things that helps me out, is I set rewards based upon actions, not results. Because sometimes the result's not going to happen the way you planned it, and that's 100% okay, and you have to be 100% okay with that also. So that's what I like. If you're at DIYCreditReport.com, that's when, and I mentioned this service earlier. No, actually, I think I did mention them actually. That's what I like about Self-Lender is they help you set rewards attached to actions. And so one of the things that, and this is actually a false belief people have about credit, is you have to start building bad credit. You have to start paying interest just to build your credit. Well, Self actually helps you build positive credit without going into debt And they actually helped me, I mentioned this earlier, is they helped me raise my credit score 70 points in the first 45 days just when I opened an account with them. So I highly, highly recommend them. But one of the things I had to do before I was able to change is I had to change how I felt about saving money. Let me explain. So I had to believe it was beneficial to have good credit before I take the action. Now, if you're watching this video, we're almost 40 minutes in, so obviously you have the belief that fixing your credit is beneficial. So I want to thank you for joining me this long, and hopefully we won't go too much longer. I don't think we'll go too much longer, in 5-10 minutes. So what I like about them is their first reward they give you is when you set up your free account with them, they're going to give you $5 automatically just for setting up an account with them. Their second reward is they're actually going to give you a referral bonus when you refer a friend. And so that's what I did. I shared it on like Facebook, or I think I shared it on Facebook, and I had 2 friends sign up for it. So I got bonuses right away from that. But the third bonus that I really like is that you actually get after 3 months of making your payments, you actually get a credit card with them. And so I signed up for the biggest dollar amount, which at the time was like $145, or I don't know, maybe it's specific for me. But so when I finally got my card, it was like $400 or $500. I can't remember what it was. But they also build up over time. So I think now my credit with them is like $600 or something like that. So it just helps you build your credit up over time. And like I said, if you're on DIYcreditRepairSecrets.com, you can jump down to where it says bonus tips, and I think it's the first slot there. So please check them out. They've been very helpful for me. I really enjoy their service. I really think it's an awesome plan. So highly, highly recommend them. So the next thing I started working on, like I said, I'm building my positive thoughts, my positive actions. Was I had to change that the way I looked at saving money, and so that's why I started an Acorn account. Same thing with them, just for opening a free account, they're going to give you $5. Same with them, if you refer any friends, they're going to send you $5 for each person you recommend. Same thing, I had 2 people sign up for that. It's kind of interesting that 2 people sign up for this one and that one, and then we'll talk about the next one too. 2 friends sign up for that too. Might have been the same 2 friends, I don't even know. What's really cool is, like I said, they're going to give you first the $5. Second, they're going to give you, I think it's $5 or $10, I can't remember, when a friend signs on. They also, the third thing they do is they give you found money for when you sign up for their partner deals. One of them was like getting a life insurance quote. I got a life insurance quote. They gave me $5. I can't remember what the other one was. Same thing, they gave me $5. I got like $10 from their partner deals. But the other thing that helped me raise my credit score, or not my credit score, but my how much money I was saving was they do roundups. So every time you use your credit card, they round the change. So if it's 89 cents, they put 11 cents into your savings account. So it just helps you build up. And then over time, the 5th way is through dividends. You'll start as the money you save and the money you have in there, you'll start earning money off the money that you have saved in there. Pretty cool deal. So that's why I highly, highly recommend them. And like I said, guys, all these things, and this one, it's not specifically about your credit, but it's about managing your finances. And the more vigilant you are about managing your finances and your credit, the more beneficial it's going to be for you, and you'll be able to save money and actually be a positive financial mindset. And so the third thing that I recommend is creating a Robinhood account. Same thing with them. Is first thing they're going to do is they're going to give you 1 free stock. I think I got like a Bed Bath & Beyond. And same thing, their second reward, you share it on Facebook. And I had 2 friends sign up for that too. I know it's super, super weird. So with the cool thing about them is I got 2 free stocks. I think I have like I almost said Tesla. I wish I had a Tesla stock. They give you, I can't think of who the other 2 stocks are. Anyways, that's what's really cool is they have that. And then the other bonus I want to share is the credit building card. It's a secured credit card. What that does is when you open a secured credit card with them, it's going to almost instantly start sharing your credit with all 3 bureaus. Like I said, same thing that Self did, but in this one you do have to put some money down. But I think you can start with as little as $200 with them. And then the other bonus I have on there for you to help start changing your mind is if you have a high debt ratio. Fortunately for me, I don't have a lot of debt, but I recommend this. I've recommended this service to a couple of different people. Is what it does is when you sign up for, and this is the 4th one. I just can't think of the name of it off the top of my head right now, but it's the 4th one. It's going to say on there how to start building a $5,000 credit limit, and it's an easy online application. You just put in your information, and like I said, I haven't done this one yet, but I read all about it, and basically you have like a Amazon style type website. You spend $100 and you buy like these products, and they're not the cheapest. Like I said, I was comparing them to Amazon. They're going to be a little bit more expensive. That's probably how they make their money, but basically it's going to cost you $200, and you're going to get not a free product, but a $100 product. Because the other $100 is for your yearly fee, but there's no monthly service fee, none of that other stuff. So you're basically paying $200. You're getting a $5,000 credit limit, and then you're gonna get whatever you get. Like there was like rings, there was like athletic gear, different things. Check it out. But it's just a way for you to buy down your credit ratio. And like I said, which leads me to the last bonus for you watching this video and getting this far in this video, and that is if you're on DIYcreditrepair.com, click on the little thing where it says claim your reward. What's really cool is with this reward is I actually have a partnership with an online travel company, and you can actually pick to travel wherever you want. Well, not wherever you want. There's a list of I forget, like 50 cities at the time of this video. But you can pick wherever you want to travel anywhere in the world. And here's why this is so important to me. A couple years ago, this is about 3 years ago now, same thing, I was kind of depressed, I was kind of sad, and because I really wanted to go to Peru for my birthday. That was my goal. And I was talking to my friend, and she was like, I was telling her, I was like, man, I'm feeling the dumps lately. I'm sad. I'm not making the money I want to be making. And she's like, well, take a vacation. And I was like, what? And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, I just told you I don't have the money to take a vacation. She goes, well, where do you want to go? And I was like, well, I really wanted to go to Peru for my birthday. She goes, oh yeah, your birthday's coming up. She goes, I've always wanted to buy you a good birthday present because you always buy me presents and I always forget. I'll tell you what, I'll buy you the plane ticket and you can go. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And when I remember literally within like 5 minutes, we were actually on the phone as we were going to to a restaurant. And before we got our water on the table, she had already purchased it and emailed it to me. And I look at the thing, and it was a month in Peru. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? I just told you I don't have money. And I was like, how are you going to book me a plane ticket for a month in Peru? She's like, you'll figure it out. She's like, when you have a goal and that you're emotionally attached to, you'll figure out a way to make it happen. And guys, it was the best thing that ever happened. I literally because it was a month away, or it was like 2 or 3 weeks away, and I did amazing for those 2 weeks in sales. Sold a lot of stuff. I had enough money for Peru. Peru was the most awesome trip I'd ever had to that point. I think it's still the most awesome trip. I don't know. I love all my trips. I don't know if I have a favorite. I love every vacation. I'm actually in Playa del Carmen right now, making this video for you. So guys, I highly, highly encourage you to take a vacation. Even if you feel like you can't afford it, I want you to take that brave step and just booking your ticket. You'll be able to choose. First, you'll pick which country you want. So let's say, like right now, you can Cancun's actually one of them. You'll pick Mexico, then you'll pick Cancun, and you do have to pay the taxes and the resort fee, and it's slightly different. So like one city may be but they all are going to range between like $60 and $100. So that's just for your hotel though. So what I highly, highly recommend you doing is to be brave and to go ahead and get your hotel ticket. Go ahead and book that out, And then if you do have the money, go ahead and buy your plane ticket. I don't know. And like I said, you on that hotel deal, you do have to wait 1 month. So today is the 3rd of September. So the first day you'd be able to book it would be the 3rd of October. Pretty simple math, right? But go ahead and request your hotel, buy your ticket, and then it gives you 1 month to just focus down on your finances, just to get really clear about what you want, really clear about your goals. So that leads us to the final part of this video. Now I want to help you with a guided meditation. Guys, and this guided meditation has helped me out a lot. And before we get started, I want you to get a paper and pen. That way you can write some things down, okay? So if you need to pause this video, go right ahead. But please get paper and pen so you can write some stuff down, okay? Are you ready? Go ahead and pause it. If you need to, I'll wait here, okay? All right. Well, I hope you paused it, and I hope you got your pen ready. So first I want to, and just so you know, this method we're using, it's going to be a mixture of a couple different people I like to follow. If you follow Wim Hof, we're going to be doing some of his deep breathing techniques, also mixed with some Joe Dispenza, and a couple other people have very similar strategies, but we'll go ahead and get started. So I want you to start by taking deep breaths, okay? And what I mean by a deep breath is I want you to just first you're going to fill up your stomach, then your chest, and then your head. And what I mean by head is kind of imagine you're swimming and you're about to jump in, you know, when you kind of push up on your nose, but this time you're not going to hold your hand there. You're just going to fill your stomach, your chest, and then your head. So it's hard for me to do it while I'm talking, but just do it in the comfort of your house or wherever you're watching this. And so you're just going to breathe all the way in, and then when you breathe out, you're just going to fill up to 100%. You're just gonna release it to about 70%. So let's just and when I say release, I mean just gently let it out. You don't have to overexert yourself. Just we're gonna breathe all the way in, and then breathe it out all the way in, and then slowly release it out. So just keep doing that over and over again, and just focus on your breathing, and then just listen to me, but focus on your breathing, okay? All the way in, and go all the way in, and then all the way out. So just keep doing that as you're listening to my voice, okay? Go ahead and close your eyes. All the way in, and let it out. And just imagine you're 1 year into the future. Imagine that everything in your life has worked out exactly as you planned it. Your relationships are good. Your health is the best you've been in years, and your finances are amazing. I want you to think, how does that make you feel? You know, are you happy? Are you relieved? Are you you really can't believe how you got there. It was just, miracle after miracle. Everything worked out exactly as you can. Exactly as you wanted it to. It's just everything is so perfect. So just think about who will that benefit. I want you to think of every aspect of your life. Think about your friends, your family members. I want you to think about why that's important to you. Why is it important that you're now you're healthier, you're wealthier, you're happier. Just think of all the different parts of your life that are going to be different now that you've accomplished what you set out to accomplish. So now I want you to think about, and I'm going to just give you a couple of minutes, or a couple seconds, just to kind of think about all the different parts of your life that it's affected because you're now healthier and wealthier and happier. Okay, just think about that. Okay, great. Okay, now I want you to get that pen and paper I told you to get earlier, and I want you to write something down. I want you to write down, today I will, and just write the first thing that comes to mind. So today I will, and the first words that come out, write a sentence, whatever you want. Okay? Next thing I want you to write down is I am. So whatever that may be, I am happy, or whatever whatever you want to put there. I am, and just write it down. Okay? Next thing I want you to do is I want. So whatever word comes to your mind, I want. Okay? Alright? The next thing I want you to think about is I want you to write down I will, and then write down the next words that come to your mind. Don't think about it, just write down whatever it says. The first words that come to your mind. Okay? I'll let you finish writing that. And now I want you to think of I won't. Okay, so whatever words came to your mind, I won't. Okay? Breathe all the way in. Alright, now breathe everything out. Alright. Alright, go ahead and open your eyes now. And I want you to think about all those things that you wrote down. Don't imagine that, or don't wait that we're 1 year before you start taking these actions. I want you to do those actions today. And so that's why I said today I will. And because the thing is, guys, we always think that at a future date we're going to accomplish these things. At a future date we're going to start doing these things. But that's one of the biggest mistakes we make as humans. So I want you to start doing those. I want you to forgive all those people that maybe in the past have lied to you or held you back. Just forgive them. Just show them forgiveness. Show them love. Because you're not going to be able to move forward if you're holding resentment, if you're holding hate. Just let it go, okay? But most importantly, I want you to take responsibility for everything. Even if it's not your fault. Even if it's not your fault that you got fired or that you are in the situation, but just take responsibility. And the reason that's important is because blame creates slaves. The thing is, if you're blaming certain people for certain things, those people now have to save you. So instead of waiting for them to save you, you're a slave to whatever thoughts. So if you're blaming the economy, if you're blaming your former employee, if you're blaming whoever, you have to wait for those things to change before you can be saved. So you now are a slave to those thoughts, those beliefs. So just let them go. And the reason all this is so important is I want you to be your true self. I want you to be in love with your life. I want you to be happy. Just like a baby is just constantly happy, and except for when it's hungry or makes a mess. But that's how we should be as humans. We should always be happy. And guys, the thing is being in debt is not happiness. And I know that because I've experienced it. But I would just want you to be a happy person. I hope this has helped you. If you have, I hope you share this with somebody. If you're watching this on YouTube, just if you have any questions, comment it, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing a lot of other fun stuff on this channel. This is just one of the things. Watch some of the other videos if you like it. But guys, thank you so much for sticking through this whole video. All right, appreciate it. Bye.